When it's game time, yeah, that's just another way to say it's my time.
Naz said not tonight.
I love the aggression from Naz.
Yeah, that's how I ball, but I still want more. Get ready, here I go.
Hillmon wants a three.
When she's not on the court as a forward for the Atlanta Dream, you can find Naz Hillmon shooting another type of shot.
I just really enjoy being able to walk around and kind of put into frame what I'm seeing and being able to capture it and savor it for a later date. My mom actually gave me this camera for Christmas. I've been asking or talking about wanting to get one for myself. It's a Sony A7 III. Now this is my baby and I take it with me on all my road trips.
What's it been like to kind of go on your own journey of finding out what your, photography style is?
It's been great. I think being in different cities is really helpful because I'm able to get something a little bit different, depending on what city. Sometimes it's water that I'm really drawn to. Sometimes working with lighting as well has been a big part of what I'm really trying to figure out and learn and, what settings to use for my camera. I just love how it just takes me on a journey. Sometimes I look up and I've been walking for an hour, trying to find what pictures that I want to take or taking so many pictures. I'm now I have to sift through and edit and, kind of see what really stands out to me.
You kind of mentioned you're on the road a lot. You see a lot of different places. What is something that, when you're walking around will always kind of catch your eye or kind of make you want to take a picture of it?
Yeah, I think architecture is something that really always catches my eye. Since I was little, I've always loved going to different cities and seeing their skyline. I think the contrast of the sky in the background, depending on whether it's sunny that day or cloudy, I think that always brings a lot of character into the city or the buildings, how the sun reflects off of if they have a lot of windows in that building. So that's a big thing that I'm always drawn to. It's so bright out. I need to get some of the sun or the sky.
When you are, going out in between kind of your responsibilities for the dream, are you going out by yourself and kind of finding these places that you want, or are you going out with teammates, or how does that work?
So sometimes I go by myself, but usually I actually go with my boyfriend, and he holds my camera bag so that it's not heavy on my shoulders. Yeah, and I'll be like, I need to change my lens, and that's what he'll do, present the lens.
Just between these two images, you have this one on the right that you choose to showcase in black and white versus the other. I'm just curious what the kind of impetus was for doing that.
For this image in particular, I really liked all of the wires, I guess I should say, for the bridge. So I think that it popped more being in the black and white, giving it more of a moody kind of feel, and then it brings more attention to those lines. I feel like if it was in color, maybe you would just be focusing more on the bridge, but I really like the symmetry of how there's a little bit more of a shadow. I think the black and white also kind of blurs out the people a little bit. I feel like that's the last thing that you look at, but you can see how they also add character to the picture.
Something I noticed that in the collection of photos that we're going to talk about today is, there weren't any basketball really related photos that you had. And so I was just curious, is that something that you kind of do intentionally and kind of keeping the hobby that you enjoy kind of away from your job?
Yes.
And making those two separate things?
I absolutely do. That's been huge for me this year. Obviously my first year of really taking on photography is that it gives me a release from basketball. I love my job, I love basketball, but I think everybody needs a moment to step away, and it just gives me that moment, and it just takes me away from the scout or the game plan for tomorrow, and it kind of resets me. Oh, these people are having a nice little picnic.
Photographing people, especially friends and family, has its challenges, I'm sure, because of them maybe not wanting to be in them or you wanting to do them justice. You have two examples here of folks who are comfortable with you. Can you kind of give us context to both sides?
On the right side, this is my pride and joy, my niece, Shyla, and we were actually making friendship bracelets. She's really big on that right now. And this was the first one I was able to snap because the rest of them, she wouldn't let me continue to take a picture. She wouldn't look at the camera anymore. And then on the left side, this is my teammate, Ryan Howard. The hat that she's wearing, we actually went to a store to make the hat kind of get in her side profile, but also a little bit of the buildings in the back.
We've seen a handful of former pros and kind of get into photography. I don't know if you've seen Larry Fitzgerald, Ken Griffey Jr. has gotten really into photography. I'm just curious from your standpoint as a pro athlete, do you think there is something about being a pro athlete that kind of gives you a different perspective when it comes to shooting action shots, shooting sports?
Yeah, I do definitely think it gives you a different perspective. I think, you know, when I get mine back from playing in a game, there's always specific ones that I really enjoy. You know, whether that's a shooting or a dribbling one. Sometimes I really enjoy just a standing one to like see the emotion. So I think I'm able to kind of filter what, you know, an athlete would really like to see. I just think it's so hard, like obviously with things in motion and being able to catch it at the right angle or speed, your apertures, make sure that everything is, I feel like you have to be perfect when it comes to sports photography.
So you weren't golfing this day?
No, I never golf actually.
Okay. I
am awful at golfing. I don't really want to participate, but I enjoy being with my teammates Ryan and Leash. So that's how I incorporate myself into their daily plans of going golfing. Is I'll just say I'll caddy and I'll bring my camera.
Between Ryan and Leash, who do you think is saying they have the better game on the golf course?
It's Rye. Rye will say it. Leash will say that Rye's also better as well. Rye's good at just about everything, so that's an easy one.
While we have Leash on the screen, I know you have been making a personal push to have, you know, Leash included in the MVP race. I'll give you another opportunity right now. Your pitch for Leash as MVP of this WNBA season.
Alicia Gray in double figures. Gray sticks it in, got the cookie jar. She gets it to go. Another bucket for AG. Gray for greatness on that one.
Alicia Gray has been just such a huge part of what Atlanta has done this year. She's at the top of everybody's scout, and she's consistently putting up these numbers. You know, like I said, I don't know where we would be without her, and I'm going to continue to talk about it until I can't anymore, until the award comes out, and then I'll probably still talk about it, but I definitely think that she should be in that conversation.
EG over the top, Hillmon top catch, and she finishes with the left.
You know, you kind of brought up having to kind of not reinvent, but retool your game a little bit for the pro level, as so many players are coming into W as a top dog and where they're coming from, but not everyone succeeds at doing that. So I'm curious, what has been your key to your success in doing so?
I think the biggest thing is just wanting to do anything and everything that I can to put myself on the floor, but to help, you know, my team be successful. My first couple of years, it was just rebounding, it was just defense, and, you know, figuring everything else from there. And this year, it's catch and shoot threes. And I think the biggest thing with that is that I have so many skilled players around me that I have to be a threat. And obviously now, being able to be a threat not only helps myself, but it helps my teammates. And this is what we need at the moment.
You brought up the threes. Can we go to Dallas? I'm sure this was a fun one for you.
Powell looks up. On top, they leave Hillmon open, and she knocks down another three.
Hitting the game winner being a three was like insane to me because I'm like, I wasn't even shooting threes consistently before this year, and like a game winner from a three ball was crazy. As you can see there, like they are confident, my teammates are confident in giving me the ball in those situations, and they are pushing me to shoot the ball. And it's fun to sit out there and shoot threes and a little celebration. I know, I do. Like this moment was like, I feel like I could have done anything, but like I just wanted to be, I don't know, I wanted to be cool, I guess. This is a good spot, actually.
Are you guys taking
scenery? So I know you mentioned earlier that architecture is some of the, you know, your favorite things to photograph. Kind of just with these two images here, just you kind of talk about the angles and positioning of, you know, how you wanted to capture these.
I started with the one on the right, and I was actually walking back from getting some lunch, and I looked down the street and like saw this clock tower, which I thought was beautiful. I could have gotten closer, but I really liked how the light was hitting the clock tower. I wanted to make sure that it was right down the middle, my picture. That's why I was standing in the middle of the street, whereas I could have probably taken the same picture from the sidewalk, but I really thought it was important to kind of get that right down the middle so that you could see the statue as well. And then on the left side, I really just liked the colors of this building, but also like the brick, I guess you would say, for this. I took this one on the side of the street. I felt like that angle would have been better instead of just being in the middle of the street. I like the angle of kind of being like more below or like underneath the building. The sun was setting this around this time, so you can kind of see that layer of the sun kind of shadowing over top of the building.
So this last group, I just really love your, use of color and texture from your standpoint. When you're traveling and you're kind of looking around for, what to photograph next, are you just kind of looking for the thing that catches your eye that you kind of naturally turn to?
I do usually take pictures of things that kind of catch my eye, like on the right picture, the low back meat co. I feel like that's like a nostalgia picture, and I think maybe because of the lighting of the sign and how it's like one of those, like, it just feels like a little bit older to me. The people, you can see it, but it's not the first thing I hope that catches your eye. I actually took this picture the first time around we went to Seattle, and I went home and I edited it and I hated it. So then I was like, when I go back, I have to take this picture and like really capture what I was looking for. So I think this time I was able to capture that.